Ever pondered why middle-aged men are increasingly seeking the company of young, attractive escorts? In today's world, this phenomenon is becoming more and more prevalent. A subtle shift in societal norms, perhaps. Or maybe it's something more complex, rooted deeply within the human psyche. This trend of older men purchasing the companionship of younger women isn't just a fleeting fad, but a growing pattern that's worth our attention. Join us on this intriguing journey as we delve into the pros and cons of this emerging trend. The allure of youth is an age-old phenomenon. It's a potent cocktail of vitality, beauty and excitement that draws one in like moths to a flame. This allure is particularly potent for middle-aged men, who often find themselves drawn to the company of younger escorts. Let's delve deeper into this. The vitality of youth is a potent force. Youth is a time of energy, vigor and vitality, a time when possibilities seem endless and the world is ripe for exploration. For many middle-aged men, being in the company of someone youthful and energetic can be an invigorating experience. It's like a breath of fresh air that rekindles the spark of life and adventure that may have dimmed with age. Then there's beauty. The beauty of youth is undeniable and universally admired. It's a beauty that's fresh, unspoiled and vibrant. It's like a radiant sunrise, full of promise and potential. It's not just about physical attractiveness, it's also about the exuberance and zest for life that younger individuals often exude. This too can be incredibly appealing to middle-aged men. Younger escorts also bring a sense of excitement and novelty. They are often more open to new experiences, more adventurous and less inhibited. Their youthful enthusiasm can be infectious, making every moment feel fresh and exciting. This can provide a thrilling escape from the routine and predictability that often characterizes middle age. Lastly, for some men, being with a younger escort can give them a sense of control and an ego boost. In a world where they may feel increasingly obsolete, this can provide a much-needed affirmation of their desirability and relevance. Yet it's important to remember that these are not the only factors at play. The dynamics of such relationships are complex and multifaceted, influenced by a myriad of social, psychological, and personal factors. It's not just about the allure of youth, but also about the individual's own needs, desires, and circumstances. But as with anything, there's more than meets the eye. While the allure is undeniable, there are significant downsides to this trend. Let's take a moment to delve into the less glamorous side of middle-aged men seeking the company of young escorts. Firstly, the potential for exploitation lurks in the shadows of this industry. Young escorts, often in their early 20s or even late teens, may find themselves in situations where they are manipulated or coerced into providing services. The power dynamic is skewed heavily in favor of the older, often wealthier clients. This dynamic can create an environment ripe for abuse and manipulation. Next, this trend perpetuates harmful stereotypes that can ripple through society. The idea that a man's worth is tied to his ability to attract young, beautiful women can be detrimental to men's self-image and mental health. It encourages the objectification of young women, reducing them to mere trophies to be won. This, in turn, can contribute to the harmful notion that a woman's value lies primarily in her youth and physical attractiveness. Moreover, the psychological impacts on both parties involved are not to be underestimated. For the men, this trend can create a sense of inadequacy or dissatisfaction with their own lives or relationships. It can lead to feelings of loneliness and emptiness, as the relationships they form with these young escorts are often devoid of genuine emotional connection. For the young escorts, the impact can be even more profound. They may struggle with issues of self-worth, and the transient nature of their relationships may lead to feelings of instability and insecurity. The emotional toll of living such a lifestyle can be immense, leading to long-term psychological harm. Additionally, this trend promotes the idea that intimate relationships can be commodified, which can distort both parties' perceptions of genuine, healthy relationships. This can lead to unrealistic expectations and dissatisfaction in future relationships, perpetuating a cycle of emotional harm. In light of all this, it's clear that this issue isn't as straightforward as it may seem. There are significant, often overlooked consequences to this trend that warrant careful consideration. On the flip side, there are some who argue that there are benefits to this trend. One of the most frequently cited advantages of middle-aged men seeking the company of young escorts is companionship. The hustle and bustle of modern life can often be isolating, and loneliness is an all too common ailment. In this context, the services of a young escort can provide a sense of companionship and connection that can be deeply meaningful to some. It's not just about physical attraction, it's about shared experiences, engaging conversations, and mutual understanding. Another point often brought up is the potential for mutual benefit. Yes, the man benefits from the company of a youthful, attractive individual. But let's not forget the young escorts, who can also reap substantial rewards from these arrangements. Financial stability, exposure to different lifestyles, and opportunities for personal growth are just a few of the potential benefits. In many instances, these arrangements can provide young people with resources and experiences they might not have access to otherwise. Finally, there's the argument that this is a personal choice between consenting adults. We live in an era of personal freedom and self-expression, where individual choices are respected as long as they don't harm others. In this light, if a middle-aged man and a young escort mutually agree to an arrangement, it can be seen as their personal business. It's a transactional relationship, yes, but one that both parties have willingly entered into. However, it's critical to emphasize that these pros are only valid when the arrangement is consensual, respectful, and fair to both parties. Exploitation or coercion of any kind should never be tolerated. So it seems there are two sides to every coin. It's essential to keep an open mind and understand that while there are valid concerns about this trend, there are also those who find value and fulfillment in these arrangements. As with many things in life, it's not as black and white as it may first appear. This trend has far-reaching implications affecting not just the individuals involved, but society as a whole. One of the most striking societal effects of middle-aged men purchasing the services of young, attractive escorts is the normalization of age disparities in relationships. When these transactions become commonplace, it can subtly shift our collective perspective, making significant age differences in relationships more acceptable in the public eye. This shift can have a ripple effect, potentially influencing the dynamics of traditional relationships and challenging long-held norms about age-appropriate partnerships. Another implication is the commodification of youth and beauty. In a society where older men are willing to pay for the company of younger women, youth and beauty become valuable commodities. This could lead to an increased emphasis on physical attractiveness and youthfulness in society, further perpetuating the pressure on women to maintain their physical appearance and youthfulness. This trend might also foster an environment where personal qualities and intellectual attributes are overshadowed by physical attributes. Moreover, this trend has the potential to affect societal change. As the demand for these services grows, so does the potential for legislative changes. Countries may be compelled to revisit their laws and regulations related to the sex industry. This could lead to more stringent laws to protect the individuals involved, or a move towards decriminalization and regulation in an effort to ensure safer conditions for those in the industry. Yet, it's essential to note that these implications are not set in stone. Society is not a static entity, but a dynamic one, constantly evolving based on the actions and attitudes of its members. We must ask ourselves, are these shifts beneficial or detrimental? Are they reinforcing harmful stereotypes and inequalities, or are they challenging them? As society evolves, so too do our attitudes towards these types of relationships. It's a complex issue with no easy answers, but one thing is certain: the conversation is far from over. As we continue to navigate this trend's societal implications, we must strive for understanding, compassion, and respect for all involved. It's evident that this topic is complex, with both positive and negative aspects. Middle-aged men engaging with young escorts is a trend with multifaceted implications. On one hand, it fulfills certain needs and desires, providing companionship and a sense of vitality. On the flip side, it raises moral, ethical, and societal concerns, including potential exploitation and reinforcing harmful stereotypes. Ultimately, the question of whether this trend is good or bad is subjective and depends on one's personal views and values. Understanding the nuances of this issue is crucial for informed discussion. Let's not shy away from these complex conversations, but rather embrace them. It's through dialogue that we foster understanding. So, we invite you to share your thoughts on this topic. What are your perspectives, your experiences, your insights? Let's delve deeper together. Remember, it's through our collective voices that change happens. Don't forget, your voice matters. Share your thoughts and let's continue this conversation.